Where in the world is the not-so-jolly Jade Giant now? Well, one film crew has vowed to answer this question. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Hulk Annual Issue Number 1, courtesy of David Papose, and find out what happens next together, shall we? So then, if you didn't know from the marketing, this story is being sold as a sort of found-footage horror movie featuring the Hulk. As we join the story, we're introduced to our intrepid film team. Manny the cameraman, Tony the sound guy, Carla the host, who apparently was actually once a well-respected lady TV anchor, but who left it all behind to try and chase the bigger bucks that come with making award-winning documentaries. And geez, I didn't think documentaries made that much money, but also I don't know how much a local news anchor makes. So for all I know, it's a world of difference. There's also the director, because every movie needs a director. His name is Ryland, and well, he's kind of a prick. It was his idea to do a big documentary film on the Hulk and his path of destruction that he's left all across America. In fact, Ryland talks about the Hulk as if he was his own personal white whale, or green whale in this situation. The documentary, codenamed Project Viridian, a reference to Viridian, New Mexico, which if you're a longtime Hulk fan you'll know just so happens to be home to the Los Diablos test site, which would make it both the birthplace of the Hulk and the Gamma Bomb. As the film crew learns, Viridian has actually hit some real hard times ever since the shuttering of the Los Diablos test site. Now the town is close to death, and the only thing keeping it alive is either A, selling the story of the Hulk and its connection therein, or because of subsidies made possible by the Roxxon Corporation. Yes, that's right, Roxxon is fracking for gamma radiation in the small town, which is naturally leading to a bunch of problems. The townsfolk are getting sick, people are going missing, and there also seems to be strange earthquakes going on, which is actually pretty par for the course when it comes to fracking. Hey, are people still fracking anymore? I know this was like a real hot topic a couple years back, but now I don't hear about it anymore. The townspeople also don't much care for the film crew, thinking that they're being vultures making a movie about their plight as well as their connection to the Hulk and all of the destruction that he's caused. And no, the irony isn't lost on the film crew at all that these people claim to hate the Hulk so deeply, yet at the same time they need to actively be connected to the legend of the Hulk to actually survive. It's like Salem with the witch burnings, only, witch burnings isn't huge, radioactive, and occasionally destroys other cities. The team decides in order to get some real award-winning footage, they're going to have to break into the Roxxon fracking facility and see for themselves what's going on there. Apparently this place is in a real bad state of ill repair, and a bunch of the green gamma juice is actively leaking into the earth, which you just know is bad. It's also here too they end up finding a strange hurt individual in the factory, who actively appears lost and confused, but when Carla goes to approach him, he ends up turning into a giant monster himself. Carla and the others probably would have been killed right then and there were it not for the appearance of the Hulk. In fact, we see that this is the very same bit of footage we got to see in the beginning of the book, only it's made abundantly clear right here and now that the Hulk wasn't trying to kill the film crew, he was only trying to protect them from a much bigger, much nastier monster. The film crew tries their hardest to escape, but the big fight ends up messing up their car. It's well flipped over with all of the lights out. The film crew ends up getting dragged away by, get this, moloids working for the Mole Man. Yeah, that's right, the famous Fantastic Four villain is involved in this. Which, again, I guess kind of makes sense. This is trying to be a found footage horror movie. The Hulk is a hero, but he's also a total monster, and the Mole Man, while he seems trite and silly occasionally to longtime comic readers, he's basically a real-life chud. That's cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers for those of you out there who don't speak retro horror movie. Now, the Mole Man's always been a little off his rocker, but apparently all this excess gamma leaking into the earth has only made him crazier. They don't go to their way to say it, but I'm almost 90% sure he's the one causing the earthquakes. Also, even though the Mole Man is scary, at the end of the day, he's still the Mole Man, and Carla manages to beat him over the head with a piece of film equipment and knocks him out in one hit. How is she able to do that so easily? Well, she says that she comes from TV news, so she knows a thing or two about having to deal with gross little men trying to paw at her. Fair enough. I guess we now know she worked for a Fox News affiliate, huh? Once that little detour is over with, once again the film crew is ready to get the hell out of there, but Ryland refuses to leave. He feels that he's closer than ever to capturing that one piece of footage that's going to make him a legend. And he's so obsessively driven to this goal he doesn't care who gets hurt along the way. In fact, he basically pushes his entire film crew down a mine shaft so they can follow the Hulk's fight with this giant monster. And when they all basically tell tell him to get bent, Rylan decides to pick up the camera himself and go deeper into the splash zone, even though it actually ends up getting him killed. The Hulk is shocked by all of this too. He can't imagine that someone would be so totally stupid. Also, I didn't read the end of that Donny Cates run, so I don't know where they left the Hulk at in terms of level of intelligence, but here the Hulk, even in monster form, speaks in full sentences, and even makes a wry observation over the dead body of Rylan, saying, "Hope you got your shot." Obviously, the documentary never got made, and we flash forward to Rylan's funeral, where the film crew is attending. The priest's eulogy is actually kind of interesting. He says that as a creator, Rylan wanted to explore the human spirit and the dichotomy of man. But perhaps he stared too close into that abyss, and while he was looking to try and make a film about the Hulk, perhaps the real monster was actually him in the end. And again, because this is going for found footage horror movie vibes, when they actually play back the tape of the funeral, oh look, Bruce Banner was sitting there the whole time. But wait, we're not done yet. That's the end of this story, but as a sweet little epilogue, we get a taste of what's coming down the pipeline in Philip Kennedy Johnson's new Hulk series starting soon. We see the owner of the mine wherein Hulk fought that giant mysterious monster trying to call someone to get its corpse removed already so he can get his people back to work. In the end though, the mine owner ends up getting way more than he bargained for, as a group of strange suit-wearing individuals come to, well, basically eat the corpse. These weirdos appear to be human at first, but eventually we discover that they're gross, nightmarish monsters only wearing human skin, like this was Men in Black. Their leader is a woman referred to as the Eldest, and she says to the rest of her followers that they must find the Fractured Son, who is obviously revealed to be the Hulk. Why is he the Fractured Son? Well, I guess we'll have to pick up the new book and find out, won't we? And so that was Hulk Annual issue number 1, everybody, and overall I thought it had several very interesting ideas, but I wish it just had more time and space to kind of play with them and grow. But I don't think any of that was really the point of this issue. It was meant to be a nice little bridge gapper between the end of the Kate series and the beginning of the new Philip Kennedy Johnson series, and I think this one succeeds in that regard by literally bringing the Hulk back down to Earth. It's a pretty clever idea to go back to the literal birthplace of the Hulk and see what such a cataclysmic event would do to the surrounding area. I hope future writers actually revisit this concept. Also, getting to see characters like the Hulk and Mole Man portrayed in more monstrous, horrific contexts is also a pretty solid idea and almost worth the price of admission. But again, we kind of only get a little taste of it here. The film crew themselves are compelling enough that you hope nothing bad happens to them. But the second Rylan shows up and starts talking about how he's obsessed with the Hulk and sees him as his own personal white whale, you can basically already tell how this story is going to end because we've seen so many others like it before. Still, not to say it's bad. In fact, overall, I would give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It's a good brisk read and a nice way to reacclimate yourself to the world of the Hulk before a brand new run starts. But for more on the Hulk, be sure to keep your eyes peeled to the channel because I will be covering it as it comes out. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.